And thus, we arrive again. Another thrilling adventure in the tales of the kobolds. Pay no attention to the fact that the Roll20 screen on the stream was adjusted slightly to the left, showing my picture in the background of a wonderful space scene. Pay no attention to that. Last time, in the tales of the kobolds, as you sorry, my apologies. As you dive deeper into the caves of hunger, you came face to face with the master of the kobold vampires, a Knoll vampire by the name of Tekeli Lee, who had been here for who knows how long. As you attempted and formulated a brilliant strategy, it seemed that you had beaten them so badly, or at least so quickly, to the point that they had to force a retreat, and intelligently retreated deeper into the caverns to stage, or at least attempt to stage, a surprise on you to gain the upper hand over you. As you ventured further into the caverns, you attempted to find some common ground, some way to gain the advantage over these vampires, to which you entreated upon the knowledge of Professor Scant, who told you that a creature like this most likely does not have any particular of the normal weaknesses that regular vampires do, such as being unable to cross the threshold of a home, or, in the case of running water, seems to not have an affliction such as that as well. However, there are a few things that are still as normal with vampires as to this one. Namely, a stake through the heart, when it's incapacitated, will paralyze it. And even though I don't believe I mentioned this the last session, I will say it for you now because Professor Scant would have told you. He would have told you that the regenerative properties that the vampire has can be stopped by an application of radiant damage, or holy light. Or in the case of item-wise, holy water can temporarily stop the regenerative properties for a short time. And with that, Velin would have also chimed in that she has one particular spell that she can use to also temporarily halt the regeneration, a spell called Chill Touch. So, with this knowledge of vampires at your disposal, you attempted to go after the vampires, but not before exploring a little bit of the caverns. Before you could further go extremely deep into a somewhat dark and spooky section, you had a little experiment with one certain spell of Scales, Rolithim's Psychic Glance, to which it was experimented upon, like if the vampire, since it was so named by its cohorts, if it was within range of the spell, you could perhaps damage the vampire, and perhaps gain an upper hand with a little bit of damage as you rushed to intercede. The experiment, thankfully, was successful, and you felt the spell connect, and heard a fearsome yelp of pain in the distance, to which you rushed towards its source, only to find silence. You approached cautiously towards this cavern, slowly, assuredly. And as you entered this room, you, Hawks, you turned to your left, and the vampire kobold turned to face you. Neither of you gained the upper hand against the other, although some are still hidden from your sight. But for now, combat begins anew, and I will need everyone to roll initiative as we start up again.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Question about this radiant damage.
Yes.
Does that have to be holy specifically, or just...
Ooh, it can be any source of radiant damage.
I'm gonna pull out my gun.
Why are we so stacked in initiative? we're just ready for this. Okay.
To be fair, you guys had such a great plan before. Like, you guys were just dogging these vampires down as they retreat into the cave. So it makes sense. This makes perfect sense.
Meepo's in the perfect spot for a cleric to be too.
Oh yeah.
In the kind of in the back, kind of in the middle. Yep.
So,
I mean, as far as like initiative, she's at the end of it, so that once everybody's
Oh, yeah.
gone, she can kind of like triage and see who needs help.
okay. And of course, the lad himself. First place in the initiative order. Scales. What do you decide to do?
I'm going to move here. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20.
All right.
Oof.
That area is going to be
See, it's a 30-foot radius. So, because you're now kind of like looking into the space a little more, let me reveal just a little. Yeah, okay, yeah. Reveal just a little bit more. You would see out to. See these little spaces over here. Let's see up to there from your current angle. You do know that there is a tunnel going to the south and around that way as well. And you can just place that sickening radiance just out of Hawks' reach so that it does not hit him.
I love that it goes around corners. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Just brutal.
It's a fantastic spell.
and then I'm going to get back out of range.
Of course, you go in, you cast your spell, and you get out of there. Scamper away.
So now they have to fight us in a more open area or be, pushed into the area.
Which it seems they might. We'll see.
Because, there's a Hawks there that will just literally bar its path.
Indeed. So, Skanuk.
All right. Let's see what we can do here. Well, I don't see them, yeah?
You see one. You see the one that's next to Hawks, but the other ones appear to be somewhat hidden.
Okay.
For now.
I'm going to... I think I've already used my one cannon per day. I didn't long rest. But I will use a spell slot to, to create a arcane cannon.
Okay. That's right, you can do that.
Yep. Here, yes. Put him here. Oh, wait, no, we did. He was on Hawk's
his
shoulder.
Yes, that's
we
right.
had one on Hawk's shoulder
Yes.
already. It was the fire cannon.
Yes, you prepared that. Yes, that is correct. I
That's
had forgotten
actually
to.
better.
That means you don't need to use that spell slot for that.
Yeah.
As you already did.
Yep, it's a flamethrower cannon, and
Hang on.
let's see.
Hang on. There's a token. There we go. There's a specific icon. That's a turret.
Excellent.
That I put on Hawks.
Excellent. All right. Let's see. In that case, yeah, I'm just gonna lean out, and I'm going to shoot this bugger with a firebolt if I can get him without getting into melee range.
For him specifically, he's kind of around a corner. I'd say if you want to avoid the attack of opportunity, I would say he would get a +2 to his AC. So he'd have half cover.
That's fine. That's fine. I have advantage.
That's fine. Well, good thing you did, too.
Oh, yeah. Keep your heal up. So that is 15 fire damage.
15 points of fire damage. Okay. As the flesh sizzles from the creature, it shrieks out in horrible pain. But you do you will see some of its flesh begin to knit back only slightly, but it is yet to happen.
Okay. Good to know. And just for like insurance purposes, because I'm not super worried about Hawks' ability to fight this one.
Yeah.
Can I put a flamethrower cone like in this direction?
You may, yes.
Okay.
Whoosh. You let out a burst of flame in that direction, and
Arcane Firearm. That is
ooh,
fire damage on a DC 17.
oh. Well, good news. It seems pressed against the wall, there was in fact a kobold that had been hiding behind one of these stalactites.
Hey.
He does get a bonus to his AC from using cover. But we'll see, and I'll reveal him now that he's been hurt. Token layer. There we go. Let's see. From that point, it wouldn't be full cover, but it'd be like hiding behind a tree. He'd get like a +5 from like 3/4. Oh no, sorry. No, the radiance should not have disappeared. I should have put it on the map layer. I don't know why it vanished. Hang on. Oh wait, hold on. I think I know what happened. There we go. Yeah, I didn't delete it. When I put it to the map layer, for some reason the map itself it put it behind the cavern map for some reason. I don't know why it did that.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's not gone. It's there. Yeah, so he will get a +5 to this roll, which is a 20 + 9. That's a 25, so he will succeed, but he will still take half damage. Which is 9 points of damage. Okay. He will also scream in pain, and you'll see him kind of just gotta start getting riled up.
Eat shit. Let's see. Yeah, and I guess that's probably my turn.
Okay, in that case, Hawks Hagnard is your turn now.
Yeah, and there's a guy right there.
Yeah. Ready to be bopped.
And I want to point out I am enlarged, but not enlarged.
Right, you're medium, correct.
I am medium now. I'm medium Hawks. So I'll still get all the benefits, because I went large in the hallway, which is kind of funny that works, but I digress. Yes, I will definitely attempt to bop this guy a couple of times. I don't think I get any advantage or anything.
And not yet, no, not unless you roared.
Yeah, I'm gonna save my roars. And I might activate my Storm Rune and then give myself the advantage with it. In fact, I think the Storm Rune is going to be useful to have, so I am going to activate the Storm Rune.
Okay.
And this will use my reaction. So I'll use my bonus action to Storm Rune. And I will use my reaction to give myself a advantage on an attack roll. Or no, I want to save my reaction for my buddies, because Hawks needs to play a little bit of support. So I'm just going to do straight rolls, but I will have the Storm Rune active.
Okay.
And I will use my fancy battle axe to attempt to bop. That didn't quite work. And bop. Are we emboldening bonded?
Let me see. I look up a little bit.
I don't remember if Meepo did that.
I think I doesn't. No, not for this. No, I don't see it because there was the Beacon of Hope. There was the Relevant Psychic Lens and Concentration of Beacon. Oh, hold on. Concentration of Beacon of Hope. 1 minute of Emboldening Bond left. So yes, you would still have
D4.
Yeah, you would still have the D4. Yes. So 1 minute.
So to that 12, that'll go up to 14. Don't know if that'll help.
14 will just hit.
Okay. So that will be 9 slashing That is magical at a D8 from my Giant's Might. For, 17 slashing.
Ooh, it definitely
The
didn't like that.
Giant's Might pulled through.
Yeah, as you tower over this creature, which looks somewhat confusedly at you as it sees a kobold twice its size, perhaps mistaking you for a dragonborn, you slash into it once with your battle axe. It dodges to the side. As you strike the second time, this time it manages to scratch alongside its chest, leaving a horrid gash, which then the flesh starts to knit back up slightly.
And I used my bonus action already, so I think that is my turn.
Okay. Alright, and that means this turn it is Valin's go.
Quick question.
Yes.
The area up at the top of the map here, I can't tell like
You can't
where
see
the
that
map
direction
starts.
quite yet around the corner.
So you're covering that up on purpose with the darkness.
Yes,
I didn't know if that was
yes, I'm covering up on purpose, given the angle that you can currently see.
right.
Yeah, if Hawks moves over here, which he shouldn't because of the sickening radiance, but if you should go over here, then I will reveal what's over here.
Fair enough. Just double checking what was going on with that. Didn't know if it was purposeful or not.
Yeah, that is purposeful, but thank you for asking.
Okay.
Let's see, here's Villain's turn. She's like, alright. She kind of rolls up her sleeves. I can actually be of some use here. She will stride up over to kind of like Sknuk's position. Excuse me? And she will lean over in kind of the same position you were to try and reach that one kobold. She's going to lean over and she's going to cast Chill Touch on that kobold. So let me get her bonus here.
For the record, I'm not going to use my reaction to help her.
You know what? That's totally fair, and she doesn't need it anyway, as she will hit. And of course, I need to always double check how much damage Chill Touch does. Because I should have done this beforehand. Oh wait, no, it's already listed in her stats. Never mind. I don't have to look it up. Yay.
Hey.
So the kobold will take 8 points of necrotic damage. Which let me double check and see if it resists it. It does resist the necrotic damage, but you will notice as this ghostly apparition of a skeletal hand clasps onto the kobold's shoulder, you watch as its wounds start to reopen, and it seemingly cannot regenerate. Finally, she kind of like looks a little bit proud of herself, and she like goes back over this direction. And that'll be her turn. Which means, Meatboat, it is now your turn. Are you muted, Steven? Oh.
I'm moving forward a bit, and then can I see anywhere down this hallway from here?
Alright, from there, let me see here. From where you would be able to see. Okay, let's
Also, anywhere down here.
down there, so this, as you can see now that you're kind of looking over there, that leads to a dead end over down here.
Okay, fair enough.
Up there, you would, from that angle, you would be able to see that. You'd see a little bit more of that area. There would be like a secondary tunnel kind of down there.
Okay.
But you get the sense that there's more down this way, but it is from the angle that
Right.
you're at, you wouldn't be able to see.
Yep.
But there is no hallway down this way. There maybe is like a little side path over this way, but there is a tunnel leading. There's another set of stairs going downward. This tunnel down here.
Okay. So I'm going to how long does this last? 1 minute. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to ask Sonar for a little bit of help with this guy.
Okay.
Or no, not Sonar,
Zelaria.
Zelaria.
His sister. Okay. So. You reach out.
Zelaria,
Go ahead.
You mind helping out here? There's a bit of a pest control problem we've got, and well, let's see what you can do.
Okay. You watch as a spectral form of an elven woman, wreathed in golden light, appears right next to you. She gives you a curt nod, and she pulls back a spectral and radiant longbow. Shh. Go ahead and roll a 1d20 plus 5. Nine. Wait, hold on. Do you, well, no. Does your specific brand of kobold have pack tactics?
I do, yeah.
Hmm.
Do you want me to do it again?
Roll again. $19. Okay. Using a bit of guidance from your kobold nature, even though you're not necessarily a violent person yourself, quite far from it. But given the advantage of Hawks right next to this creature, she pulls back and almost misses, but the spectral light refracts alongside the ice of the cavern, bounces back against the kobold from behind. Go ahead and roll.
Trick shot.
Trick shot. Go ahead and roll a 3d6 plus 4.
Plus what?
3d6 plus 4.
Nice.
18 points. You watch as this kobold is incinerated in a blast of holy fire. As the arrow pierces its chest, as the inner radiance begins to start as a pool of white, which then begins to spread across its body. And it screeches until there is only silence and ash remains.
Oh. All right.
She gives
Thanks.
She gives a deep bow and then she disappears. Alright. So that is your turn, Meepo, unless there's something else you wish to do, like move.
Action dodge.
Action dodge. Gotcha, got it, because it was bonus action. Alright. Now it is their turn, and I need to make quite a few Constitution saving throws, because...
Oh, good.
Yeah, they're hiding in that area, alright?
Radiance. It is sickening.
Oh yeah, it's a sickening radiance, alright. Oh boy.
Scales is like a vampire slayer here.
Seriously. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me double check their con. What's their modifier?
Why go down the tiny little tunnels where they might be hiding with traps when we can just turn it all into a death box?
Exactly.
What would be great if we made like a wall of stone or like a wall of fire right where the edge of the radiance was, so they couldn't get out.
Yep.
Alright, so that is a 19, an 18, and a 10.
19, 18 past 10 does not.
Okay, so go ahead and roll damage for the one that failed, because I think there's no half damage, surprisingly, on Sickening Radiance. Let me see, do they gain exhaustion? Yeah, they aren't immune to exhaustion. Yeah, they'll take that exhaustion, alright. Alright, that is 29 points of radiant damage. Oh my gosh.
I don't think he's taken the exhaustion. I think he's taken the L.
Oof.
Owie.
Spicy.
It's the lost meme here for him.
Spicy light.
You do, yeah, let's see here.
The old spicy light.
Press F to pay respects.
F.
Alright, so the two are fine, just the one guy took the big L. So now you can see where he is, because he does not gain the benefit of being hidden anymore. That's that guy. He was hiding behind the stalactite, it seems. Or stalagmite, in this case. He is
Well, if he's a
also
vampire,
glowing.
it could have been either one.
True, given the climbing speed. But yes, now he is now glowing as well. The other two are still hidden. But you definitely hear there was some skittering of a couple different bodies. You know how many there are. But it is now their turn. And they're gonna have to find a way to crawl in, which now with the openness of that, he can now get in that way. You watch as the kobold comes from the side of the cavern, pressing against the wall. Zoom in. Let's see here. This guy will attempt to skitter over this way next to Meepo, revealing himself. And the guy who took the massive L needs to find a good spot to pass. So what he's gonna do is he's going to, let's see, how far can he move? He's gonna go up this way and then climb 10 feet up the wall. They can do that. Although it's for purposes of not stacking things again on top of each other, I'm just gonna reveal this area right here. Or you know what, actually, I'll do it here to avoid confusion. Although there probably will still be some confusion. I'll put him right there to signify that he's on top and climbing on the wall, about 10 feet up. But because of that, they are all going to swarm you. As this guy, as well, climbs along the wall above you, Meepo. I almost forgotten about him. It's going to be 2 against you, Meepo, and then 2 against Hawks. And they have pack tactics.
I have taken the dodge, so they have normal.
Yes, they have normal against you, advantage against Hawks. So let's start with Hawks. So 2 attacks with advantage against Hawks. That is a 13, which will miss, and a 21 for the second one, as they bite at you.
The 21 is my armor class, but I can actually use my reaction, not for the Storm Rune, because that would just set them to regular, but I can use the Runic Shield to make them roll again.
Okay.
Reroll the d20, and it's specifically they're rerolling the one that hit me. Because Runic Shield is awesome, and you get to use it after the fact, and that will make it a miss.
Alright, so both of those, as they try, you can see them lunging at you with hungry jaws, but you kind of like press your shield up against in defense. It has like sort of a shield wall, and they kind of like, both their fangs kind of bounce off. That does mean for you, Meepo, thankfully, with your dodge, these are normal, so the first one, a 13, and then a 9.
Both miss.
Both miss. Yeah, they will all flail against you with this swarm of kobold vampires, all just lunging at you. It's disconcerting, but they're now trying to press the advantage and trying to get in close.
My shield is keeping the one at bay, while the other one I'm just like jumping out of its way.
Indeed. Let's see. So that will be their turn. I need to double check something regarding a certain effect. One moment. Let me see. Okay, so he's not. All right, so that will pass their turn, and I need to also roll a separate Constitution saving throw because Tekeli Lee was in fact in the Circle of Radiance.
Hey,
Sucks to be him.
lol.
Gale's like a boss.
Let's see here. What is
Natural
Any regeneration he was doing from the psychic lance is now being stopped. Hopefully.
Now, granted, he did have a couple turns to gain back health, but like any
Right.
more healing is now if he fails. Okay, so he does have a sizable bonus to this, so we'll see what happens. As a 24, so he will succeed. But the thing is, he. Let's see. I need. Okay, there is something he can do. Okay, here's what he's gonna do. You will watch as the hyena-like form of this vampire becomes bipedal and rushes around the corner. You can see some of the radiance begins to kind of sizzle at it. It seems to wince, but it seems to be resisting the effects for now. Right now it seems to run around the corner. I will put on the token later. Alright. Let me map out its movement, how much it can go. Okay. So, it will lunge out, and it will target you. It sees the current situation here. It looks at you, Hawks, and you watch as it begins to stare at you with that one blind eye. And you start to feel this sudden wooziness, this sudden pressure kind of forms at the base of your skull. I need you to make for me a Constitution saving throw.
With emboldening bond.
With emboldening bond. 25. You feel almost for a moment as if you're about to double over in sickness, but you hold it in. You are fine. The creature will... Oh, hold on. Roll 20. Don't freeze on me, please. Uh-oh.
I saw his ugly face and felt a little woozy.
Yeah, it's a very frightening face, to be fair.
I think more that Hawks recognized that he just resisted something and is making a joke, but...
Exactly. Hang on, I need a refresh roll 20 on my end.
I didn't know Hawks could innately cast Vicious Mockery.
Alright. Refreshing. It's getting there.
UGLY. You don't got no alibi.
You ugly. Which they are, in fact, quite ugly. Not because they're because they're a vampiric monster. Come on, it's acting real slow. I apologize for the delay. Okay, here we go. Alright, so he's going to move.
Amazing.
He's going to move down behind the pillar and get some cover. And that will be Kelly Lee's turn. It's now Scale's turn again. So for reference as well, he is essentially behind 3/4 cover, so he gets a +5 to AC while he's behind that stalagmite.
Got it.
Right, but it's your turn, Scales.
I'm gonna move here. And which ones can I see?
So you can see, at this point, you can see all of them, because these two are... This one's climbing on the wall above this one. So you can see both these. You can see the one right here, which is climbing on the wall. You can also see this vampire. So you can see all 4 of the kobold vampires. You can see the corner of Tekeli Lee's arm along the stalagmite, though he has 3/4 cover. These guys are pretty much fair game.
Okay. So the guy to my 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 5 o'clock.
I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Could you explain? I'm sorry.
Ping, ping, ping.
Gotcha. Okay, so bam, bam, bam. Gotcha.
Those 3 I'm going to cast.
I apologize, I'm very dumb. I sometimes, even though directionally it makes sense, I'm I'm slightly under the weather as well. Command, okay.
Flee.
Okay.
Can I also ask you to, you may want to step back a bit. Just a tad. You two.
Alright, so that is a wisdom saving throw. Okay. Alright here. Their wisdom modifier is as such. Okay. This one. So this is going from top to bottom. 1, 2, 3. So 2 fail, 1 succeeds. The top one succeeds. Let me double check the wording on Flea specifically. Slowly, the target's been moving away from you in the fastest means possible. So not the safest route, but the fastest route. Good to know. Okay. Okay. You watch as these two down here begin to kind of look at each other, start to get a little bit antsy. So we'll see what happens when they get to their turn, although they'll probably most likely run. Is there anything you'd like to do?
And then to kill a Lee, I'm going to Bardic Disinspiration.
That basically is what it is, isn't it? Alright. Alright, go ahead. Oh, that's a 7. That's a... Ooh.
Spicy.
Oh, wait, no, that was what I rolled. But what are you gonna roll? Oh, it's still a 7. Still spicy.
As spicy as ever.
Okay. Now you will get attacks of opportunity from these boils right here.
Yep.
Not the top one. The top one would be slightly out of reach, but these two would. And they get attacked. They get advantage because of pack tactics.
Oof.
I'm very sorry about this, but it's necessary.
Yep. So let's see here. So top one first is going to be a 14, and the bottom one is going to be an 18.
Both hit.
Both hit. Okay. So
Fortunately, I can't do anything about that.
yeah, both of them at the same time as you turn to flee. The ones that are slightly antsy, you just like kind of quickly clamps down on your leg, but you manage to tear off the fang before it can fully grab at you. But you will still take. Let's see. You will take from both 6 points of piercing damage from the top one and 7 points of piercing from the bottom one. There's also, I'm gonna roll this. Yeah, you will. Yeah, I'll roll this separately. You also take a total of 11 points of necrotic damage, which is reduced from your max HP. Other than that, you managed to get out of the way.
Okay.
All right. So, with that,
I don't mean to be a downer, but you took damage. Do you need to make a concentration
No, I
save?
know. I have advantage at that.
Okay.
that's right. It's 2 separate ones as well.
So the first one would have been 13.
It's gonna be 10 DC
10.
10 both times.
Yeah.
Okay, not 20 for the first one, and 17. Okay, you're good.
Oh, good. Whew, I wanted that to stay.
I had Flash of Genius ready to help, but luckily it wasn't needed.
Yes.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't, but that's what the team is for, in case. All right, but speaking of Sknuk being awesome, and it's your turn now.
I wouldn't say awesome. Let's see.
I mean, come on, Flash of Genius is pretty awesome.
All right. I'd like to, I guess, flamethrower these two in front of Hawks.
Let's see. Yes, you'd be able to angle it so because, well,
Up the wall.
yeah, the one on the wall you'll be able to angle. The one on the bottom would get +2 from the bonus because of its half cover, but you would still be able to hit both and not hit Hawks.
Okay. So I'll do that, and then I would like to hold my action.
Oh wait,
to
never
cast a
mind.
fireball.
I'm so sorry. It doesn't matter because the turret is on Hawks. Never mind. What am I talking
Yeah,
about?
the turret is on Hawks.
Yes.
I'm a fool.
It's a shoulder-mounted cannon like the Predator.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'd like to do that, and I'd like to hold my action to cast a fireball once Meepo moves back.
Very well.
Okay.
I see the bead of orange light coming out, and see the grin growing on Sknuk's face, and I'm ready to get out.
Yep. Only 8 damage for this one. Yeah, the Sknuk's incantation for fireball is just the insane cackle.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So this time they don't have any bonuses to their cover, so that's going to be a 16 and a 19. So one will pass, but
Half damage, though.
half damage. And yeah, the one that fails. Oh, that's right. Let's see the one. Let's see. Right, because they actually did. One of them got some health back last turn. The one that took the big L, though, does not. So he actually is the one that's going to be taking the full damage from this, funnily enough. And because he took the radiant damage, and because he didn't regenerate, he's going to die from that.
Oh, that's him.
Yep. You did around the right amount of damage because he could not regenerate.
Nice.
Alright, there's another kobold. This one, as it clings to the ceiling, the burst of flame burns to a crisp. Its little claws still digging into the ice and stone. Frozen there. Or rather, crispified there.
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
As it should be. But, that was you're holding your action for Fireball. Alright. Which means, it's your turn now, Hawks.
Yes, so first off, I'm going to pocket the cannon so that it is on my person and will not get hit by the fireball.
Indeed.
And seeing that he's charging up a fireball, I think what I will do is actually take the dodge action and hold my ground.
Okay. That's right, because you're very fireball resistant.
I'm very fireball resistant. Well, I might literally take no damage if I use my shield master thing and
Yeah, that's
cast the
right.
thing.
That's right.
And even if I don't, I'll take half damage. So, yeah, I'm just going to make sure that I am as in the way as possible for these
Excellent.
kobolds in future turns.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that. That's such good synergy. All right, so that is your turn. You're taking the dodge action. You're standing your ground. That means it's back to Valin's turn. She is going to peek around the corner again. I think it's time this creature meets its end. She'll point a finger at Tekeli Lee, even though it's unlikely that she might hit with its AC bonus. She's going to try anyway. With the bonus to its AC, it unfortunately does not hit Tekeli Lee. But she was like, blast! Well, I tried. She'll go back around the corner. Alright. Which means Meepo, is your turn.
I don't feel safe this way, so I'm gonna use this. Eldath, help. I'm gonna disengage and move back.
Alright, disengage. With that, they cannot take their attacks of opportunity.
Also, some of them have already used their attack of opportunity, so they wouldn't be able to use it again.
Indeed, that is
One of
also
them
correct.
has, yeah. But
The two of them specifically have. Only one of them
One
will
of
get the
them-
one.
oh, right.
Yeah, good call. Okay, so that means, yeah, you're completely out of range. So, is that your turn?
Movement action, bonus action. Yeah, that's it.
Which means your held action
Time.
goes off. It is time for Fireball.
Fireball is a 20-foot radius, if I'm remembering right.
20 foot,
So-
yes.
There we go. Nice and...
And because it goes around corners, Tekeli Lee receives no bonus to his dexterity saving throw. Besides his own natural
Yeah.
stats.
Oh,
Good.
Alright, let me...
I have advantage on this, and I will also have +2 for the shield master.
and you have your emboldening bond.
You do not have +2 to shield master.
I have +3.
The +2 is only for if a effect targets specifically you. This is an AoE.
Oh, that's right.
If you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you can use your reaction. It's just that's a... As long as it's...
Read the first part, though. The top part. First bullet point.
Could you put? Do you have the feed in Roll20? Could just like put it up?
I have the text of it. To me, does not make it seem like. So I can't add the will make against a spell or other will attack that only targets you. Interesting.
Okay, so you can't add the AC shield bonus, but you still have the only half damage and.
Yeah, the effect would take no damage. That still exists, but
Okay, that's
you know,
fine because I still have advantage on the save and I still have the emboldening bond.
Indeed. So you can go ahead and make that save.
Been
So
12 seconds now, so we have
And because of that,
48.
you take no damage.
He knew it was coming.
Oh, he knew, alright. Alright, so...
Remember that scene in Captain America where he just like leaps out of a building and like lands entirely on the shield, like curls up into a tiny ball and lands on the shield entirely?
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
Momentarily shrinks back to kobold size and then goes
Ooh.
back to medium.
Oh, to Kelly Lee. Again, taking full force fireball to the face.
Sucks to suck.
Again.
with that -7, that -7, he rolled a 4 effectively.
It's +7. But yeah, he rolled a 4, and then the -7 from the... Yeah, he rolled a 4.
Oh, is that already? Yes, I'm saying. Did you factor in Scales'
I did. It was
Yeah.
when you mentioned it, like, yeah, he doesn't get the bonus at all because of that.
Oh boy.
Oof.
So he
Bad
rolled a
day to be a
4.
couple.
These other ones, they get a +6. Yeah.
Fox takes no damage, which, you know.
Right.
It's worse.
Making
So
my
let's
job as a
see.
cleric very
1,
easy.
2, 3. Okay, so only one would succeed, the middle one. But that... Let's see, 35 because of the elemental adept. Okay, they're still up. But man, they ain't looking good.
Feels good to be gangsta.
Actually, wait. The top one, because it took damage from your flamethrower the previous turn, that's also down because of that. That's 2 down.
Fear me.
And then this guy...
3 down.
Yeah, but this guy also took damage. He's also down.
That's 4.
Yep. Only one kobold vampire left, and then Kelly Lee himself. Take that, Kelly Lee, of course, took a shit ton of damage.
and the kobold vampire needs to take a flee action away from me.
Yeah, it does. yeah, it does. Man, you guys I thought you guys wombo combo them before, but this is brutal.
We were mad.
You were mad.
Not letting them get away again.
Nope. Woo! Alright, so that means that was the held action of Meepo. Or sorry, the held action of Skinnock. Which means Meepo, it should be your turn.
No,
Hawks, you have
Meepo went, and then it was Meepo used his
After-
bonus action and action.
Oh
to
yes, oh that's right. Sorry, no. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
it's the vampire's turn.
My bad. Sorry, my apologies. My brain.
No harm done. No harm done. All good. All good.
Speaking of harm done.
Yeah, that's the appropriate response. Honestly, I can respect it.
I was mentioning harm done before. What's that damage again? 40-10, I believe.
It has to make the save, and then
It failed. to
takes
save.
40. It failed.
He
Okay,
rolled a 15.
that's 40-10, I believe, is what it was. Let me double check.
30 points of radiant damage. It's gone.
Vaporized. He runs into the light and just burns.
In a desperate attempt to escape, he suddenly sees the folly of his ways. From this cursed existence, he lets the light take him, and he holds out his arms upward, Solaire style, and then
He just vaporized himself.
This is just like circle hell going on here. It could be worse, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, so the kobolds are gone. They're all gone. Which leaves...
On the scale of 1 to they deserved it, they deserved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which means it is now Kelly Lee's turn. He no longer has the unbardic inspiration on him, so I'll remove that marker. He's kind of fucked right now. So I'm gonna have him be a little shit, and he's gonna start cackling. Start pointing at you. I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Let me check something on Emboldening Bond and my abilities with it really quickly. There might be something that, besides just the extra d4 added.
11? Okay, 6.
I think I'm going to use my Indomitable. If I fail. If I happen to have failed, I will use my Indomitable. I do have the Emboldening Bond.
I will say you have failed that.
Okay, well, then in that case, I will use my one use of Indomitable.
Oh, that's not, that doesn't have to do with unless they take damage. But
Yep. So I will get to roll that again. And that does not do any better.
You can also add your Emboldening Bond if you didn't already.
I rolled a 1 on the Emboldening Bond. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you roll as well, Meepo? Wisdom save?
Not yet. I'm looking to see if any of my abilities do anything for this with Emboldening Bond added besides just the D4.
Gotcha. In
The
that case,
it does is Wisdom save.
Wisdom
right?
save, yes.
Good thing I have a high plus on that.
Indeed. Okay, so Hawks and Skanuk, you feel the laughter kind of kind of like ring in your ears, and to you, Hawks, you kind of laugh a little bit as well. But there's like a deep-seated fear in the pit of your stomach and your heart that you can't seem to shake. Both you and Skanuk are considered frightened. Actually, Velen needs to make the save as well. I'll just quickly roll this. Yeah, she also fails. So she's also frightened of him.
I have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the frightened condition, so I will actually get to roll that again.
So many rolls.
Yay.
Don't know that it'll work, but yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Because I am using the UA, or I guess it would technically be the actual Kobold now from Monsters of the Multiverse. I have Draconic Legacy, and to avoid frightened, I have advantage.
Indeed. So only Skanuk, only you are frightened. Your knees are kind of knocking together.
I don't know. I've done the cool thing, now it's going to murder me.
At least so
like-
you would think.
It's like, I have accomplished my life's work, I can die now. Wait, no, I can die now. Shit.
Let me double check as well. Yeah, and despite it being somewhat ill-advised, he is going to... Actually, he can't. Yeah, you know what? He's gonna actually run into here, so he will actually have to take the con save, but he will run out of sight down this way. So I'll have to roll con save for him.
That means he doesn't get his regeneration if he had it.
If he fails.
Either.
Which he will succeed.
Okay.
Okay, but he does go down that tunnel. And that'll be his turn.
He was like here, right?
He was right there, yes. Yes, he was right there, and then he went down this way.
It's like 40 or 50 feet of movement. Okay.
That does not... Since Skanuk no longer sees him, that does not impede Skanuk's movement anymore, though.
That is correct. So Skanuk, as long as you do not see the target of your source of fear, you can move towards where you
Freely.
think they are. Yes, as long as you can't see them. If you see them, you have to stop. But yeah.
See. Okay.
That does mean the secret ingredients would have to go away before you chase after them, but you know.
Or you
And
could
I
just
will
walk
go
through the
ahead
city
and-
radiance.
I'll go ahead and drop the
Actually, wait. I'm wondering how much movement speed he has. Do we know?
You did see that he wasn't in his null vampire form. He was currently in his like giant hyena form. It seemed like a very like not quite like giant size, but like a very mobile form.
He was hyena'd.
Interesting. Wonder if he's fast enough to outrun a fireball. No, probably.
In any case, Skills, it is your turn though.
I will drop concentration on Sickening Radiance.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and just go ahead and move that to the little side here. Just push that.
Takalali.
Lol.
What you casting?
Hello.
Oh no. Well, ain't this a pickle?
Oh no. Just the brutality of it all. Oof.
Alright, so that is an intelligence saving throw. He actually gets a -2 to these. That's a 10. He fails.
Oh, he's incapacitated too.
Perfect timing for someone to run up to him with a spike.
He... You hear the yelp around the corner. You can't quite see down the tunnel from that angle, but you do know that he is down there. Alright, so is that your turn then?
Probably.
And then I'm gonna Bardic Inspiration Hawks.
Yeah. Alrighty. Which means...
Do you still have your action surge?
I still have my action surge.
Oh, good.
Skinnock, it's your turn. You no longer see the source of your fear, so you can move about freely.
Okay. I'm going to creep down this way. Can I see him from here?
From there... No, the passageways kind of like angle a bit. You cannot see him from here, unfortunately.
Okay. One more step.
One more step with that. It is a bit angular, but you can just barely make out his form. That will reveal... let's see, from your angle, it's not too high.
I see. What is the frightened condition again?
So with that, you cannot move closer to the source of your fear. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks when the target source of your fear is in sight.
Let's see. Interesting. So this rule where I can't willingly move closer to him is that in his stat block that it says it only works when...
No, that's the frightened condition. That's the frightened condition as a whole.
So here's something else.
Certain monsters might have a specific thing, but that is specific to the frightened condition itself.
Oh. Well, in that case... Oh, shit! That would be 34 damage total.
Indeed.
Another fireball!
Okay, he takes half, and you do see some of his wounds have regenerated because he did pass the save for the Sickening Radiance. So that mine, then half that. It was how much did you say it was with the?
Let's see,
34.
34.
You think you said?
34. So that would be 17.
17.
17. Okay. Not looking good. He's you know what? I'm gonna show you how bad he. I'm gonna show you how bad he is.
I'm glad that he's not looking good.
I would say he's looking quite bad, in fact. About that bad.
Oof, sucks to be him.
Yeah, he's taken like 2 fireballs now. Like he ain't looking good.
10 seconds and it'll be even worse for him.
Yep.
He's
All right.
incapacitated, right?
He's
He
incapacitated
sure is.
too. But
I am actually-
No. No, I was about to say, but no, incapacity does not actually affect saving throws, interestingly enough. It's stun that does.
All right. Well, that is my. I think I might have myself move back one.
Fair
I will
enough.
do so. That is my turn.
Alright, Hawks. It's your time to shine.
There's going to be a lot of rules invoked in this turn. The first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to invoke my action surge right off the bat, and the action I'm going to take is to dash, because I don't think I can get to him without that. I would be, that's... So, I'm going to dash, and end up right here.
Indeed.
The second thing I'm going to do is use my bonus action to roar in his face.
Alright. You can see the blood start to trickle from his maw as his mouth is just hanging open, panting.
And then I am going to take the wooden stake out and replace my axe with it. And I'm going to make 2 attacks against him with the wooden stake.
Okay, so this will be an improvised weapon with your strength. So just go ahead and make a strength roll, essentially, with advantage, because it's an attack roll.
You have your emboldening bond as well as a possible use of Caleb's
Bardic
bardic
inspiration.
inspiration.
Yep, and I am close enough, even though I can't see him, I'm close enough to get the emboldening bond. So, strength roll, 16 and a 15. I'm going to use both the bardic inspiration and the emboldening bond on the 16. So that is D4 for the emboldening bond, bringing it up to 20. And what is the bardic inspiration?
It's a D10.
So 22 in total.
22. You bring out the wooden stake, and almost instinctively, the creature backs away, but is unable to react. You can see its eyes widen in fear as you plunge the stake directly into its heart, unable to react due to its incapacitated state. As the wedge drives deeper in, its body seizes up, and it looks at you with fear in its eyes. It is paralyzed, which means the second attack, I will say, you can make with your axe.
Oh,
So 15
There's-
on that second attack.
Well, he was flavoring it as it being the stake, but considering he dumped all that to the 16, I'll basically consider that 15 as like well,
Basically
So-
adds proficiency to the strength.
yeah,
attack.
you would add your actual proficiency to that.
which would be another +4.
Yep, another plus
So
4.
19.
So a 19 with the 19, that'll hit, and that because he's paralyzed, that'll be a crit, an auto crit.
Ooh, does that do the damage?
The
what
giant
is it,
smite
the-
damage?
Sure
Yep.
does, and yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking about the link
I don't think he's
extended
going
injuries.
to live that long. We'll see.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
So-
death is kind of a lingering injury.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm just going to have to roll... Okay, so my damage die for the battle axe, I'm just going to roll this just for the sake of whatever. So that's 5 damage base, and then the crit will add another d8, and my giant smite dice is a d8 as well. So I'm just going to roll 3 more d8 and add that.
Fair enough.
4.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, Hawks. How would you like to kill Kelly Lee?
The Hawks basically just leaps at him and drives the stake through his heart while screaming wildly. Hawks does not remember what the actual celestial word that was supposed to be used to provoke him was, so he's screaming a bunch of stuff that sounds vaguely like it could be that celestial word. And so he gets him with the stake, kicks him to the ground, grabs his axe, and brings it down straight through the center of his face.
Alright, and as you do so, it manages to cleave right through the skull, down the middle, completely severing it from its brainstem, splitting it into 2 separate portions. You manage to get at least a good halfway down the neck before it starts to hit the rib, where it solidly clamps. And the creature, because it is still paralyzed, falls motionless and is no more. And so, combat comes to a close.
I'll grab Skinnock's handheld-sized flamethrower and point it at the body and say, "Hey, Skinnock, you want to give it a little bit of whoosh whoosh?"
Canuck is no longer scared, is he?
He is no longer frightened.
Okay. Because that was going to be my next turn if he was still frightened. But
Mm-hmm.
There's the win.
Whoosh coming up.
Give it a little throttle.
13.
And Hawks is directly pointing this thing at the body.
The body burns. It's a terrible smell of rotting flesh. Fills the space around you. Almost
use the
sickening.
perfume.
Yeah, you kind of burn the incense a little bit because it's starting to get a little bit nauseating at this point.
I mean the perfume thing that Skinnock made. The little
Oh, yeah. Yep. Apply that.
tool. Magic tool.
And we're in a cave, so this victory definitely counts.
It sure does.
Because that's a thing that Hawks would care about.
It was real. It wasn't a dream. It was
It's
real
around this
to me.
corner.
Oh, man. Okay. Valin will kind of walk around the corner. You all just continue to impress me. You're all very good at what you do.
Unspeakable violence.
Yes, frighteningly unspeakable violence. And of course,
I feel pretty comfortable speaking about it.
That's true. I never really understood the phrase, but yeah.
Yeah, you would, of course, now that you're kind of out here, Meepo, you
I
can
don't usually
see-
talk about it.
You can see where these kind of lead to, these two tunnels. You can just kind of get like a good glimpse of them.
Is there anything in this one? Or is it just an empty?
Well, hold on just a moment.
I am holding on with bated breath.
Holding on. Well, that depends. Which are you going? Are you exploring each individual? Are you going into them?
I'm double checking for traps as I walk forward, but yeah.
Okay, roll investigation.
Investigation. Dum da dum dum. Still within the minute, right? We still have the bond.
You should. It's about to expire though. But you will. I will say for this you can roll it. 16. You will notice. Oddly enough, you've noticed this as you've been walking through. Despite all the makings of these being at one point
20.
kobolds, 20. There is no indication of any traps in any place. Surprisingly, and almost disappointing, in some ways, but good in that case that they didn't activate against you.
I was kind of hoping for something like inspiration for future traps, but oh well.
I know it's unfortunate. And yet, there is something that you do notice as you're walking into this tunnel.
They suck at being kobolds and they suck at being vampires.
Well, they're not being anything right now. They're dead.
I will say, as you enter this tunnel, you almost feel that there's a presence with you as you enter this space. But you look around, you don't see anything. But there's this unsettling feeling of being watched. You just can't quite abate. And there's this...
Hawks, can you come in here? I think there's something invisible, but I obviously can't see it.
Alright. Hawks will pull down his mask to cover his eyes and step into the center of the room.
Alright. You'll step into the center.
Hmm.
You wait. There's that similar feeling of being watched, but your blind sense indicates that there's nothing in your immediate vicinity. And given the fact of the size of the cavern that you're in, it wouldn't be able to hide anywhere. You're basically covering the entire space that you can with your blind sense, and you sense nothing.
If it's watching us here, whatever it is, if it's not just a weird feeling, then it's watching us from somewhere else.
Huh. Maybe like that thing you were using?
Maybe. You think someone else has access to one?
I guess if there's one of them, they might as well have more than one. Want to tell him you're next or something?
I mean, if it's a fellow tourist down here in the caves, that was a tour guided thing, right?
That's
Then
true.
maybe that would be rude.
Yeah, but I figured anything that's already down here is not a tourist, and we're the only tourists who've been in here for a long time. And I'm pretty sure that was a tourist thing for the city. And that city's long gone. So I don't know. I just have a feeling nothing we find down here is going to be friendly. Except for maybe like constructs like that head. And it was kind of neutral towards us more than friendly.
Indeed, that would be a wise course of thinking. You should stick to that. It'll help you. It's helped me in the past. Especially with colleagues I'd rather not mention. You'll just kind of sip from her canteen.
The salt.
Okay, but then in that case, I should be rude.
Oh yes, be as rude as you want.
I was expecting Skanuk to say something here. Or maybe Scales. Scales has a pretty blistering tongue.
I'm kind of short on wit at the moment. Mostly
That's fair enough.
I'll be honest, I'm still kind of riding high on that fireball. Both fireballs? Yeah.
Yes, I don't blame you for being exhausted. You've expended quite a few of your resources, and it was quite
speaking
a
of
brilliant
which,
display.
Who all was hurt during that exchange? I know Scales was hit a couple times.
I was.
Anybody else?
I'm fine.
I didn't get hit.
I did not get hit.
Yes, you beat them quite so thoroughly that it seems only one of
Okay.
you was injured.
Then I'm
Brutalized.
casting Cure Wounds at 2nd level with my maintained concentration on Beacon of Hope so that he gets full 2d8 plus 5. So 16, 21,
So 21.
healing.
So I will say, you would have noticed, Hawks. You would have noticed that obviously he was running towards a direction to the south. There was a separate tunnel that kind of heads towards the east over here, but there is also past where he was going. Clearly, where he was going, there was some sort of cave over this way. I will say that you did notice that.
Well, Hawks is still debating what kind of insulting thing he should do in the face of whatever is watching us here. And I think the thing that he's going to settle on is dancing around a little bit and finishing it off with a crotch chop. And then he's going to move on with his life.
Devastating.
Devastating. Hey.
Is there anything in this room?
Well,
Is that a dead end there?
it is a dead end, but would you like to inspect it?
Sure.
Alrighty. One, two, three, four, five. Somebody roll a d6 for me.
Caleb, you go ahead and do it.
Yeah, roll it for me, Caleb. Okay. Hey, Skanuk. As you're reliving the vivid, fresh memory of absolutely blasting that vampire twice, just with pure pyrokinetic energy, the rush still fills you. As you kind of still coming down from the adrenaline high, you notice that his scales is poking around that tunnel. You see something.
Okay.
You see a hulking shape moving through the wall, as if it were swimming through the ice. It's this massive tentacled form. You can't quite. It's almost like blurred, as if you were looking through frosted glass.
Guys?
And
Guys?
this black shape moves through the ice. It is still there in your peripheral, but it is moving through. And you all watch now as Skinnock is like pointing out, he's like pointing towards the wall, and you all look. You don't see anything.
Squid. Nice squid thing. That's bad.
I'm going to use my Devotee of Eldath feature here from my piety and calm emotions on Skinnock.
You said it's in the cave wall. I don't know how that factors into being real. It's not in the cave itself, but the
I think
wall is
in the wall
part
of
of the cave.
in the cave. If he's in the cave, it's real. For him, right? Anyway, calm down. Eldath is with us.
Alright, if you are willing, are you willing, Skinnock?
Yep.
Alright, you calm down.
I will post calm emotions to see what exactly it does. If this is a specific effect that needs something.
Fox is mentally doing the math on whether this counts.
I will say, you kind of start to calm down, you look again, the shape is no longer there.
I know I saw something.
And what's interesting is
I
that
don't
no
like
one.
this.
What's interesting is that no one else could see it. Only you could.
Can I? Could I? Is there any do I recognize the shape at all? Is there any hint to what it might be apart from large and tentacled?
It just seemed to be an amorphous mass, shadowy mass of tentacles, and it was slightly blurred because it looked as if it was behind the icy cavern wall. It looked as if it was swimming through it. You almost saw, in a way, like the ceiling wall, the cavern wall, bulging, as if something was pressing up against it and then pushing away.
Don't like that.
But no one else saw it, and you don't recognize it. It was just an amorphous wad of shadow and tentacles. Nothing recognizable, but clearly something that is aberrant in nature, given your history with Savage's past. Clearly something of aberrant nature, it seemed like.
See. Well, that's not great. Cool. I'll keep an eye on it. I guess. Oh. Not crazy.
Are you certain? You've been cackling quite a bit.
That's
That's
normal.
normal. Everybody says it at the same time.
Normal to you, perhaps, and she'll just kind of dust herself off.
Personality quirks.
I suppose that's one word for it.
We'll just say he's really quirky.
I'm more curious what's in these tunnels over here. Would someone accompany me?
Yeah.
What's
give me
over there,
one
Scales?
Second.
Yeah, Scales, as you look around that way, there's nothing there.
Not a darn thing.
Alright.
It is true, Scales. He does seem to have that tendency. This time was completely random. Alright, so you will...
My mind is so powerful I perceive that which the mortals should not perceive.
Yeah, so she is going to go down this tunnel first. I'll reveal that.
And then figure out ways of weaponizing it.
Well, yes.
Or using it for your own advance in other ways.
Usually the same thing.
Often.
Oh,
Often.
this is absolutely
Thanks.
fascinating. So this would immediately catch your attention, Hawks. As Villain and both of you enter this chamber, it is very similar to the other chambers you come across. The stalactites and stalactites of ice kind of reach down from both ceiling and ground to connect to one another. But the most striking feature about this room is that underneath a thick layer of ice that has been somewhat scratched and clawed at, there is a frozen corpse of a frost giant, for who knows how old it might be, but is there deep within the ice. Clearly has suffered tremendous amounts of bludgeoning trauma, as you see every part of this giant has been crushed downward. It is in terrible shape.
Ah.
Yeah, as you kind of look at it, you see, like, depth-wise, it's about 2 feet of ice. It's quite thick, extremely thick. What you thinking?
I'm thinking that my computer just kicked up a bunch of errors trying to move some files over.
Oh no.
So I'm getting repeated booms in the background as my computer is having a little bit of trouble. Oh, okay. Why did that open and why did my left monitor just flicker?
Ooh.
I think I just tried to move too much stuff at once. So yeah, Hawks is going to come in and actually check out this giant and see if there's anything he can tell about like what clans it belonged to, or see if there's anything valuable on its person beneath the ice.
Sure, I'd say you would be able to see anything of value on its meaty person without needing a check. For what the first part, roll a history check.
And the fact of the matter is that since he's been hit with bludgeoning damage, I'm assuming a city fell on him. I think it's a fair assumption. That's kind of the state of this place.
You get that sense. You think whatever must have made, forced a giant, a thing of great physical constitution and might, to be crushed downward like almost like a pancake, probably would have had to have been a city or something of that size.
History.
9. To be fair, you get the sense that whatever clan this frost giant might have come from has long since died over time, or like died a long, long time ago. And given that fact, you don't recognize any of its heraldry, any of its symbols that it has on its person. You feel like if it was a clan that like was still alive today, you most likely would have heard of them, but nothing seems to reach your attention. But on its person, it has a very nice horned helmet made clearly from some sort of terrible beast. And it has what looks to be a dragon skull pauldron on its right shoulder. Carrying it in its other hand, it is carrying an immense looks to be patchwork battle axe, like made from like several different materials stitched together, but it has a terrible gleam underneath the ice that catches your eye. It's definitely made of metal. Definitely an older type of metal that you don't recognize. Not charlatan, not iron, but something interesting. It's a darker metal.
Can we excavate this guy? We don't have vampires to deal with now. I feel like we can,
Supply the fire.
I said I don't see why not. Or I was saying that.
I don't see why not. We certainly seem to have some time to do what you wish. So
I would very much like to do.
So how would you go about the process of this excavation? Currently it is around 2 feet of very thick ice. There are some occasional pock marks of like tiny claws digging. You assume the kobold vampires probably tried to dig and maybe feast upon it, but gave up on it because of how thick it was.
Well, here's my thoughts. If we want to take a long rest, maybe just after we finish digging it out, I can use a spell to kind of help. But we're going to need to turn it from ice into water first before I can do anything.
Yep. My suggestion is that I use the combination of cannon and firebolt to just blast, not necessarily blast, but melt a hole.
And then I can use my spell to destroy water, destroy anything left over.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not very helpful in this, in spite of the fact that I'm the one who wants it.
Well, I mean, you could always we could use part of it with the melting and the other part just like chop through somehow.
Yeah. if I can soften it
Pretty big
up
body.
around the if I can like soften up a grid pattern, you could like chop it out and haul blocks away. If you wanted.
Yeah, I can do that.
There wouldn't be so much to disappear.
Just when you get too much water, let me know, and I'll just destroy the water out of your way.
The amount of synergy our little kobold gang has is
It makes sense. You're a team. You're a pack. It's so great.
like it's great. It's wonderfully like thematic and all, but it's also terrifying.
Oh, it's terrifying.
is
You guys are a
terrifying.
force to behold.
We've killed a god.
You've killed a guy.
And there's an ancient white dragon who's been hanging around just a little too long. That's next. After whatever.
Future is now, old man. I'm gonna kill them.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. I enjoy being killed by laughter. It's the way to go. So
The Knoll liked it too.
he did. So what were you planning to do, Skanok? Exactly? My apologies.
I was going to use the combination of the cannon and firebolt to sort of melt like panels out. Not like try to melt through the entire thing all at once, but like melt through grids to get blocks out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an intelligence check for me. Add your proficiency bonus to this as well.
Ooh, so I guess I'll just roll.
Yeah, to roll
investigation is close enough.
Yeah, it's the same bonus.
That would have been a 15.
15. Okay. I'd say given your intellect and your basic capacity for shapes and math and geometry, you're able to easily map out you're easily to map out. In fact, you map out a grid about similar to about similar to the map grid actually, in like 5-foot chunks. Pretty easily enough. And with that, you manage to melt the water in between as well. So, if needed, control water can be used. But Hawks, if you would like to roll for me a athletics check, you certainly may.
And I think this is a good time to activate the Frost Rune to get that +2 bonus to all my strength checks. Which lasts for 10 minutes. But, I could use that and potentially use my last usage of Giant's Might to add a little bit of effect there and,
Ah, yes, you become large.
and get those things chopped out of the way, which will give me
Get
advantage and +2 on my athletics checks. So 25.
25? Go ahead and roll one more for me. Also with advantage.
26. That's 28.
28.
28.
Yeah,
Ooh.
25 and 28. Big Hawks, moving blocks.
Oh, yeah. You managed
And I'm just gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
use destroy water. Just to get rid of whatever extra excesses would get in the way.
Okay. With all of your combined might, all of your skills, Villain is just sort of sitting there, just sort of arms crossed at the beginning, but then she just kind of like leans forward and starts taking notes. Fascinating. This is just fascinating to watch.
Kobold ingenuity at its finest.
It's quite impressive. I must say, I am impressed. Like, I appreciated your efforts before, but it just keeps getting better. Alright, and with that, you manage to fully excavate after with all your combined efforts, no more than 10 or so minutes of time of excavating this area. And with that, the giant is fully excavated. It's now kind of getting this. Now, the smell is partially abated by the fact it has probably been frozen and slightly preserved and mummified, but there's that hint of viscera in the air, probably from the initial bludgeoning, and there's that it's not a very pleasant smell. It's not vomit-inducing, but it's not great. The armor is as you're kind of looking at it better now, it has been crushed inward. The armor's probably not going to be very usable. The axe, though, perfect condition.
What about that helmet?
The helmet is dented inward slightly. Size-wise, let's see if I map it out.
That's probably not magical then, but it is fancy.
It's fancy. It's not. You don't think it's magical, but it is very fancy. It's too big to fit on a kobold's head. Um, but you could probably use it. Honestly, there are holes that are used for like ear holes. If you if you just used it as like a makeshift addition to your chest plate, you could have it as like a set of like a mantle if you like angled it just so, because where the ear holes are, there's like a gap that can be, it's large enough to where you could fit your arms instead.
I think that if I can rig up my backpack with this, I might add it to our sled later on.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
just like strap it to my back and tie my backpack to it.
I'll
And
help
then-
like holding it while you're strapping it on.
And then the dragon skull.
Yeah, now the dragon skull has been dented inward. It has been slightly cracked, but of course, because it is a dragon skull, it is quite hard enough to resist the impact of, you assume, a giant fucking falling city. It has sustained slight damage enough to crack it, though. But it seems about the age of perhaps a young dragon. So it's resembles about size-wise about like a cow skull in length and width. But it still has the general resemblance of, you assume, a white dragon, it seems.
And this axe, considering that it's pristine, it seems like it's probably magical.
Perhaps. Roll, as you look at the metal, Velen will also roll this check, and so will Professor Scant. Ooh.
Do we want to talk to the dragon or to the giant?
Well, the dragon doesn't have a jaw. It is a pauldron. The giant...
Oh, that's a shame.
The giant still technically has his jaw. It's smashed inward, but it's still technically there.
He doesn't have to be able to use it. He's dead. He just has to have it. I'm assuming it can move it around like slightly and just like mumble or whatever.
Yeah, as Velen takes a look at that axe from her notes, oh my good... That is adamantine.
Oh. Out of curiosity,
Yes?
I know you said the armor was probably not usable, but what is it made of?
The armor appears to be made from like patchwork pieces of leather, of chain. It's kind of cobbled together from various different sources. There is
Yeah.
some metal, some leather. It's a hodgepodge of things.
Okay.
And what kind of axe is it?
It appears to be a battle axe.
Sized for a giant.
Sized for a giant, yes.
If it's made of adamantine, would I be able to apply the storm rune to it?
You still technically would be.
Yeah, I'm taking that. That is mine now. So during this long rest that we're planning on taking, I am going to reapply the storm rune to the adamantine battle axe, and you have a adamantine storm rune battle axe.
And of course, as you do, hold it in your as you touch it and begin to concentrate on it, it will reshape to fit your form.
The actual effects of adamantine.
So,
Melee weapons and ammunition made of or coated with adamantine are unusually effective when used to break objects, like the ice. Whenever an adamantine weapon or piece of ammunition hits an object, its hit is a critical hit. The adamantine version of a melee weapon or of 10 pieces of ammunition costs 500 gold pieces more than the normal version, whether the weapon or ammunition is made of the metal or coated with it.
Give me the text of that. So that
That is on page 78 of Xanathar's Guide.
Okay.
I could probably make that easier for you if I go to...
Or if you copy-paste somewhere.
That's what I'm thinking. We have a digital version of Xanathar's Guide. That would be...
I don't know if I have one.
Of course, the one that I use is on... the other computer. Hang on, I'm trying to find the specific text.
Are we in a position where we can rest for a long time? Has it been an exhausting enough day where we can sleep now?
It has not quite been enough time.
Ugh.
You gather maybe 3 or more hours until you think you can rest again.
Maybe we should have done that the old-fashioned way.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Well, do you guys want to talk to the giant?
We can. Sounds fun.
Yeah, let's talk to the giant.
I certainly would like to.
Also, I have
listen.
the.
Professor, you might want to listen to this, or ask some questions yourself.
I am at apt attention, young miss.
There it is. Canuck got up the adamantine rule.
Thank you.
Ah,
I
perfect.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you. I was about to look it up, but I was having some trouble logging in on this other computer.
Boom. I have the full text of both things that occurred with this very, very fancy battle axe.
Very fancy and wonderful. And we are glad you have it.
It'd be used to bop a great many things.
Yes, critically. Bop. Anyway, I
Indeed.
spend the time casting Speak with Dead.
Which, of course, as this happens, eventually the giant's might will shrink down.
I'm gonna sit at his head while I do that.
All right, you will watch. You both you're kind of like resting your hands near the face, and you're just kind of You're just kind of waiting.
The incense is burning around my head, his head, and just like filling his mouth.
Yes, and as it does, you hear, and can almost feel the air reverberate as his chest pops out slightly, and he sits slightly upward as the jaw crunches back into place, and the giant form twists its head 180 degrees at you.
Here, 2 questions for Hawks, 1 question for Villain, 1 question for Professor, and 1 question for someone else.
Excellent. So what was the question? What was the question spread?
2 for Hawks, 1 for the Professor, 1 for Villain, and 1 for anybody else.
Okay.
And if Hawks wants to give up one of his, he's welcome to.
One of mine is going to be purely for Hawks' own curiosity. And that is going to be, what clan did you belong to? And what is the history of your clan? And the second question is going to be, where did you get your adamantine weapon? I'm going to try and maybe find a source of adamantine.
Okay.
So I will write these down. So if everyone else wants to kind of like,
Sure. You can workshop the question in the meantime, and then I will workshop what Velin and Professor will want to ask as well in the meantime as well.
You also have to consider the answers you're going to be giving.
Yes,
So you
I have a
to
lot
take
to
little
do.
bit of time.
I mean, I already have an idea for something.
Anybody have any burning questions?
Not really.
Particularly.
Skaduck, you're interested in his armor. Any questions maybe about how they craft things, or what about
This looks
that
pretty. What?
the dragon slaying weapon?
That's true. Well, I'd like to ask him about that if we have the spare questions.
Well, we'll keep that one in mind. Any other ideas?
I'm still thinking of my question. And mine.
Yeah, that's
So,
about all I got.
Professor, for your question, I'm considering like, what is the biggest piece of information that could just open up all sorts of uh answers for like the history of that city? Like, we know it fell, and we know they were fighting dragons. So, like, knowing how it fell isn't really gonna answer anything. Maybe how it was flying? Where they learned their technology?
I don't know if a giant would know the specifics of that, but
They might know something. Give you a direction to go. Which giants were responsible for the technology? Or which, like, group of giants? Like, frost giants, fire giants? I don't know.
let's see here.
I'm curious about his name, but that's just his personal thing, and I don't think I'm going to waste one of these questions on it. Maybe he'll give it to us when he talks about his clan. Mostly I'm just talking to fill the dead space for the
I know.
viewers.
I'm trying to find specific information that I can use here
I know.
because I'm also searching for answers and also making questions as well. This was just one specific bit of information that I would very much be glad to make use of.
While he's doing a little search, I'm going to plug the person who did the music for this, Travis Savoy. It's
Yeah.
very entertaining and useful, I think, for getting us in the mood and for keeping the action moving.
Indeed. In fact, why don't I switch mouse over to the computer here so I can plug in the links in the Twitch chat. Let's see here.
Cool.
Alright. Because not only does Travis Savoy help out with wonderful ambiance and wonderful music for battles, these maps also fill out a wonderful niche in filling out what our eyes can see and how we perceive the battles. But these maps are made by Tessa on DM's Guild, and I've gone ahead and put a link to both of them in the Twitch chat, and I'll also put them on the YouTube video when I upload that to YouTube. Okay.
And please do subscribe to Orange Orzova on both Twitch and YouTube.
Well, actually, I don't think you can actually subscribe to me. Because I don't think I'm Twitch verified. I think there's like a whole thing.
Orange Rozova on Twitch.
Pretty sure you can still,
Can
as
you?
long as you have a channel, you can get subscribers.
That's right. That's right.
I think you can. I think you have to be specifically monetized to get subscribers. It's follows until then.
I think there's a
follows.
specific
There we
thing you have to do for that as well. But in any case, I do have a question from Velin specifically. Velin will step up, and she will ask, "So, Giant, what caused your death specifically?" A giant will... The city of the wizards. It fell from the sky. It crushed my bones and buried me beneath the rubble. Simple and straightforward. I had a suspicion, but I wanted to confirm. Professor Scant has my second question. We've conferred with each other. Professor? Ah, yes, old bean. Perhaps by chance, before the city fell upon you and ended your life, did you perhaps see what happened to the city to cause such a fall? I will roll something.
of a giant dice.
There was a presence. No, not a presence. A force. As if the very nature of everything changed. I felt it in my very soul. Something terrible happened, though I did not see what it was. After that is when the city fell. Not supremely helpful, but it is something to... a feeling in the soul.
A change in the very nature of things? Like, did magic change?
Perhaps there is... Yeah, actually... He's gonna roll something.
Didn't we have a discussion earlier about the idea of a goddess of magic's name changing because she
Right.
something happened to her and then she came
Yes.
back?
Yes,
That's what I was
yes, of
thinking,
Mistra. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, a change in things. Yes, a change in the weave. Yes, whatever that change in the weave was, must have disrupted the city in some way. But
Right, because if they were using the weave to fly, maybe they were like flying on the weave.
But would that be enough for the city itself? The city was, piloted, or rather not piloted, but controlled by hundreds, thousands of arcane practitioners. Even if the city were, if magic were to change, there should still be some magical capability for the city to at least maintain some velocity. At least not to fall as quick as it supposedly did. Something is still missing, I feel.
Maybe it
mean-
reversed the way that it worked. Instead of pushing it up, it pulled it down.
Possibly. But I need more information. And so do I.
I mean, making a whole city levitate sounds like it take a lot of juice. Maybe whatever happened made the core power system blow up.
That is a theory. If there was a core power system, yes, perhaps something of anti-magical nature.
Anti-magic.
A magical suppression, perhaps.
An
I was thinking
anti-magic
something
field
forced.
that covered the entire city.
Perhaps. It is still a theory for now, but it's a working theory.
A
Or an
game
anti-magic
theory.
zone?
She just kind of... Villain
Tessa.
turns to the camera. If there was one, but there isn't. So she did be able to see her stare off into space.
Skunnock, you go ahead and ask your question, and then we'll have Hawks do his question. His question
Ooh,
line.
What was my question? I just
It was
like,
about
said I had a question.
The weapon.
Oh, we found a sort of weapon of sorts sunken into the sea that was some sort of launcher for these big barrels of chemicals that would destroy, that would mess up dragon wings and all that. Do you know if there are any more of those and how they were made?
The giant tilts its head. The dragon's bane had been lost for thousands of years. Such a thing has been lost now to our people. Before my time.
Well, shucks.
Well, at least that tells us how old that ruin is compared to this one.
Yeah, that's something.
Yes, general
Something
records
for
of Astoria
Professor.
do place it usually before this event that took place, by a long period of time.
I was kind of mixing the two together, so that helps me out at least.
Fair enough. That's
Still helpful in the way.
my question.
So, to answer Hux's question, there's a very specific. Let me see here. Yes, here we go. You ask your questions, Hawks, and he turns to you.
First question was what clan?
I specifically asked the history, so it wasn't specifically just the what clan, but also
The history of the clan.
yeah.
He only has about 10 minutes to answer all of this, by the way. So
True. He will. I will say he makes it somewhat brief, in the sense that he says this: I was Huskar to Rhaegar Yarva, who was our clan. Our history was his history, the Jarl of Jarls, stretching back for several hundred generations. Was his might, slayer of dragons. My weapon was not meant to be mine. It was meant to be used as a gift to Vasaviken, queen of the tribes to the north. But as I was gathering the materials, and as the weapon I had made was created, on my way back is when I met my end. The adamantine for my weapon was from a star that fell from the sky at the heart of the glacier.
That is a way cooler explanation than I was expecting.
good for you. Now we know we gotta get to the heart of this glacier, and we can get some more of that stuff. Maybe make some armor for you.
Ooh.
I wish I could ask him one more question and ask him if there was any left over.
You would know
One way to find it?
You would know that Vasaviken was the frost giant queen who was entombed in the Isle of Grimscarl.
Oh.
Well, then she's not gonna miss it. Hey.
Yeah, and the other one was the one that we saw in the circle.
Yep.
That was like the reigning over the giant kings there,
Yep.
or jarls.
It's all connected, man.
So we've seen all of these big things now, and it's all connected in this one big story, and it's pretty cool. Way to
Oh,
go,
yeah.
wizards.
It's all come together.
Way to go, Evan, for connecting all those dots that wizards didn't.
I was gonna say after the stream, but cat's out of
Well,
the bag.
I'm sure that wizards didn't connect all of those dots, but they had those dots there. So, or at least some of them.
It's more than they gave me. Anyway. Oh man, still feeling that sickness. Anyway.
Alright, that's the end of that spell, I think.
Yep.
Unless there's anything else that the giant wants to say of its own free will as it's dying.
Nope. It crunches to the ground. It is no longer animate.
Okay. I propose a long rest once we get done with this last tunnel here.
That
Sounds
sounds
good.
acceptable to me. Alrighty, so that is each. Double check. So many pages, so little time. I love it. Okay. So. Let me
Is
go
there
ahead.
anything else we need to do to get rid of vampires than just put the stake through their heart and chop them up, then burn them?
Nope, you've done plenty.
All right, I just didn't want him coming back for any good
Do you
reason.
want more?
No.
I just don't want him coming back.
Fair, fair.
So,
Kick him as I walk by.
yeah, he's a bit of him comes off. Look,
He
he
did not
is
move.
crispy and fried. So, as you enter towards this way, there was that deathly stench that he had come to your nostrils before. This seems to be its point of origin, per se. You see a dozen human skulls surrounding a pillar of ice. A large cavity has been opened up in the pillar specifically being the one down here, as if something had burst in from inside it. Alright, you enter the cave.
I will be behind Meepo.
Okay.
Gingerly entering.
People, you feel that slight feeling of being watched again. But you don't see anything. And to your efforts as
to
you
look at the walls.
Yeah, to your efforts as you search, doesn't seem to be anything of value that you can see. But it is a secluded part of the cave that has no exits other than the one that you came in from. So it's rather, if you were to rest here, there would only be one way that you could come through.
Would we rather rest where we think we're being watched, or rest back in that room we were at earlier, even if it's not going to have that extra special effect?
Let's go back to the tower, I think. That's my
Right.
vote anyway.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I don't feel super comfortable in this part of the cave. I guess we could rest over by the decaying giant, but the decaying part kind of turns me away from that one.
Yes, now that it's been exposed to air, I doubt the air will remain as hospitable. She kind of winces, but I'm no stranger to death.
To the tower, then?
To the tower.
Oh,
Hawks, you coming?
Yes.
Yeah, as you happily drag your axe, your new axe behind you.
Okay. We take a leisurely trip back to the tower.
Indeed you do.
Once that rune is on it, it'll be a magic weapon and resized to me.
ooh. Fancy.
Yeah,
Giant magic stuff's pretty handy. Gotta hand it to them. They're good at what they
Hey.
did.
Let me see. Alright, so all of you go back to that tower. Which means that I'll have to drag... Have to drag the camera back around.
Now that cackling's gone, we can get some good rest. Hopefully.
So,
Hopefully, hopefully.
alright, so you go ahead and rest. But of course, bring up the Lehman's tiny hut to prevent any unwanted visitors.
I'm assuming at least that villain is doing it, if not Scales and villain.
Yeah, there's no need for me to do it too if it's gonna fill this entire space.
Well, you know what? She actually defers to you on this one, and she will actually, for the first time, ask if she can stay in your hut.
Mine is cozier.
Indeed, it has a certain personal touch to it. I've come to admire it from afar.
It has 4 kobolds who can destroy a vampire in it, keeping you safe.
True,
That's true too.
True. Usually, the tiny hut is more than capable of doing it so on its own, but I prefer to... If I'm going to have backup, I prefer it be you.
Well, that's what mighty flattering. I'm glad you're coming around. I think this can be a great partnership if we keep this up.
I would... You know what? I would agree. I apologize if in the past I have come off as standoffish and rude. She kind of winces. I really do appreciate that you've been so accommodating so far. Even if you have let me become possessed against my will, I feel as if... Well, the reason why you let that transpire is because of my inhospitability in the first place. Perhaps if I had not made such a terrible first impression, you might not have let that happen.
Well, it was kind of rude of us, but I guess it's all water under the bridge now.
I would agree. To future endeavors, she kind of holds out a hand to each of you.
To the future, and may it be a peaceful one.
She will smile and she will kind of nod. Tough as nails, all of you.
Two really cool battle axes.
And
They're really cool battle
may it-
axes.
and may it crush many atoms.
Insight. Man, hard to tell. Hard to tell.
can say?
Scott.
Who can say?
Who can say?
Not me. That's for sure.
Nah. To be fair, you're still thinking about those two fireballs, man. It's the image is still fresh in your mind. The pure incineration of the flesh is the cackling
Glorious.
both from you and from Tekelili, both kind of in unison at the same time. Oddly enough.
Whose was more of a nervous laughter.
True. But with that, all of you managed to find a peaceful night's sleep.
Oh, good.
Except for you, Meepo.
Oh, no.
Why you gotta do him like that?
Well, I've already had my fun with you, Skanuk. Now it's Meepo.
We actively killed the thing that was bothering me in my sleep. So
It's true.
Not much I can do about that.
So,
So, Meepo. You feel as if you're floating. It's warm. You can feel just comfort all around you. You've had dreams like this before. Dreaming that you feel as if you're in the presence of Eldath. Comforting. And yet, something's different. The normally still pool. But usually the only thing that makes the pool ripple is your body as it floats through an infinite expanse of still water. But this time there is a second source of rippling. As you look towards the source, there is a curious sight. You see a black, 15 or 20 foot tall obelisk, pure obsidian stone. It is pockmarked and etched with all manner of arcane symbols, far too advanced for you to inspect and determine the source and whatever effect it may have. But it is old and it is powerful. And there is a third sort of rippling you now feel. And you sense it's Eldath's presence. And what's strange is that you sense fear. Which is strange coming from a god. You realize you can speak in your dream. You realize you can move, obviously you look to see this strange obelisk, but you can speak if you wish.
thank you for always being there for me. Is this something I can be there for you for? What is that obelisk?
There is no response, per se. But there is a comfort as you feel an invisible pair of arms kind of wrap around you, give you a tight, comforting embrace. Like that of a dear friend. There is recognition, yet you feel. You feel the sense that Elith recognizes all that you have done in your pursuit of peace, how it has not gone unnoticed. But as your attention focuses on the obelisk again, sense of fear returns to you. The obelisk, as you sense it now, you sense its form shifting. It's currently under something, within something. You get that sense. And you feel chilling cold. You sense the Frost Maiden. It's almost as if a scene is playing out. This obelisk within some sort of, perhaps the city itself. Perhaps it's strange. It's this weird flash of images and emotions all coming at you at once. The city falls deep within the glacier. And Oro casts her spell to seal it within. You sense other figures all around, turning the other way, looking away from this display. You sense other deific forces, other gods, other goddesses, turning away at this, ignoring it, willfully, perhaps. Oral herself turns away for a time. But then the attention of Oral focuses back. As you get the sense, she casts her spell over the dale. And in a sense, her magic keeps whatever is inside the city, the glacier, sealed.
Can I tell what Eldath is doing during this time?
Eldath is merely doing what she has always done, to try and facilitate peace between all peoples. She can do nothing herself. And what's more, you get the sense as if she is afraid to intervene. As much as the other gods are also afraid to intervene. You get the sense as well, you have heard this before. You've heard plights and beggings from people who pray to the gods during this time of the Dale. It seems as if the gods themselves had forsaken them. Why would they leave us to this cursed fate? To be under the Frost Maiden's wrath. Why would they do nothing? And yet it seems the gods, as they turn away as the Frost Maiden does this, you sense fear from them. All of them. And that is cause for great concern.
Is this, in my dream, is this taking place like during the time when the city fell? Or during the time when Arl was doing what she was doing that we took over?
It seems as if there are two periods of time. The first period of time is when the city itself fell, as the gods turned away and looked away from that event.
Mm-hmm.
Orla herself turned away for a time. Time passed, up to what you assume is the current day.
Okay.
And then Oral resumed, or rather, in her weakened state, took up and readjusted the protection to keep it in place so as it would not weaken. To keep whatever is in the glacier hidden and locked away. Such a thing that can scare even the gods themselves, wishing it to stay hidden.
Were the gods that Umberly and the other two that were involved in taking out Arl worried at all during the time that she came down to the Dale?
You can't sense anyone in particular, but you get the sense that if these are all the gods and goddesses that you can sense, then Umberly, Talos, Malar, all of them, they probably would never admit it to their followers, also secretly fear whatever is in the glacier as well, and so leave the Frost Maiden alone, despite their initial quarrel with her. And then, you hear two simple words. Be careful. And then you wake up. And with that, all of you gain your spell slots back, all your abilities. You've all effectively taken a long rest.
Do kobolds sweat?
Pant, like a dog in some cases.
I wake up panting.
Is that, you alright? Had a good sleep. Well, most of you, it seems. Oh, nope, wrong music, nope. Villain kind of stares around in silence. Well,
Yeah, slept alright. What about you all?
I had the strangest dream,
Oh no.
and I think it was Eldath trying to get in contact with me.
I
The
dreamed there was
gist
a
of
lot
it.
of.
Oh, go ahead.
I dreamed there was a lot of Muerte Blancas running around. It was a nightmare.
you still hear the echo of her honks.
Well, the gist of it was she wanted us to be careful with what we're doing here.
Oh. Okay. Anything specific?
I'm worried about black obelisks.
Black obelisks. Villain kind of leans back. Can you give me a good description of it?
It was covered in arcane stuff from the top to the bottom, and it was really complicated looking. It was tall, pointy,
Interesting.
made out of maybe obsidian,
Obsidian or blackened stone.
maybe charlatan.
Maybe. I swear, I've seen records of such things in the archives
Professor?
of the Arcane Brotherhood, but...
You know anything, Professor?
Professor is silent for a moment. There have been records of such things being located before. Some believe them to be Netherese in origin. It seems that some of them are perhaps bindings to some terrible creature. Others are perhaps something that have yet to be discovered, but they are mostly an enigma. Their creators long since gone from history, almost seemingly wiped and snuffed out.
I think it might have been on purpose.
That might be likely, given how there is simply no, or very few record of such things being created. But there have been some that have been identified. I believe one was in the jungles of Chult. That's the only one I know of, personally. But there have been others, I know that.
Do we know what killed Mistra?
To your knowledge, and let me double check here. Let me see here. To the history and fate of the god Mistral, you remember that she was the original god of magic, said to have created the weave, which enables spellcasting itself. From what you remember, a Netherese mage named Karsus sought to steal Mistral's godly power. To prevent doom from befalling material worlds, legends say that Mistral sacrificed herself to keep Karsus from achieving his goal. And after that sacrifice, she was reincarnated as Mistra, and is now worshipped across Faerun. And of course, Netheril in the sense being the Netherese Empire, not specifically Ythryn, but the Netherese as a whole, as a people.
Wait, what's the Netherese as a people?
So, Ythryn was created and inhabited by the Netherese civilization. So they were
Right.
the Netherese are essentially the inhabitants of Ythryn and other cities like Ythryn in that sense. But basically a civilization of magics and very magically inclined people as a whole.
Were the Netherese in Schult?
I
Tessa?
believe there might have been, but to my immediate memory, no.
Okay. Huh.
Well, that is a curious thought. But my thoughts, to distract from that thought, are perhaps we should investigate sections of the caverns that we have not explored yet. Because clearly there must be a way into the city. We just haven't discovered it. We've hit multiple dead ends now. There must be a way.
I hate to say this, but what do you guys think the odds are that it's past the giant worm?
Well, there was a passage going towards the vampires that went up. That might be it. And then we can avoid the giant worm to start with, check that spot out, and go to the giant worm as the last resort.
Possibly. There was
Oh,
also
I'm all for avoiding the giant worm. I'm just pointing out what our luck is like.
That's true.
There is also that tunnel that we were about to go down before Master Scales cast his spell, that psychic glance spell.
That's true. So, one northward and the other one southward?
Multiple southwards,
Vaguely.
technically, but yes.
Oh, yeah, and then the collection of undesirable southwards.
Yes. Nervously sweating human. So, which seems the wisest course of action? Exploring the unknown, or tempting what is known but known to be dangerous? The evil we know versus the evil that we don't know.
Nice. Well, I feel like if that worm's running around, there can't be much worse in here, or there'd be like a real fight going on between them.
Unless
So
it's keeping them.
let's. True. Let's
Isn't it-
check anywhere else first.
Ah,
Okay.
a wise course of action. Last resort. Got it.
That's just my suggestion. If you guys really want to do it, we can try it.
What do you think, Scales?
Could we use that self-guided tour to go down the tunnels and explore the rest of this cavern?
They could try.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, let's go try it out. Flynn will step ahead. After she kind of like gestures towards you, after you may try if you wish.
I mean, Hawks just kind of put his hand on it, right?
Yeah, you just kind of put your hand forward and press what you assume was the button, and there is a fizzle of electricity and arcane energy. You kind of your hand is forcibly pushed back. There's a slight crack in the stone.
I'm gonna assume that's a no.
Ah. I assume it was heavily damaged during the fall. That might have been a one-time thing, unfortunately. Darn.
Hawks, do you have a mending spell?
I don't think mending will affect something like this.
I guess I could just like... Nah, I think that's not worth it.
So we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Who did you cast Death Ward on, Meepo?
Myself.
On yourself, gotcha. So in that case, Valin will sort of lead the charge
Understand.
down this way.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Hello, Golem. She waves past the Golem. She walks away. The Golem clicks its eyes in recognition.
So we saw that the hole in the room with the spire goes down and then splits off
Correct.
to a room with the remoras, and then there's another fork. Do we want to kind of check down what's that fork? Avoid the remoras?
You
Remember
can
how
try.
this one here? Are you talking about the southward path?
No, the room with the spire,
Fire.
just south of our tower that we stayed in.
Okay, tower. South of that.
Oh,
I-
that one.
Do you mean this one down here?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's the second to last resort. Because it's one of their paths. And they might be like in it or watching it.
I will say you did notice that it was kind of had a slight upward slant to it. You get this sense, given how slick these tunnels are, you may or may not be able to climb them.
I have to make like pickaxes or something. Yeah, that'd be tricky.
Yeah. As far as
We still have
past
those
the,
crampons.
as far as the tower goes, this is going straight down, though. So it'd be more like a slip and slide.
Right.
Could I cast animate objects on a rug and make a makeshift flying carpet? Or like a bedroll or something?
That could work. Does the animate object have a specific strength score?
Yes.
What is that score?
Does it change for different sizes?
On a huge object, the strength score is 18. On a large object, it's 14. On a medium, it's 10. On a small, it's 6. And on a tiny, it's 4.
Let's see. So I would say a rug or a mattress would be a large object. A bedroll would be a medium object.
Okay. And I could do like 4 medium bedrolls. And so it would be carrying each of us, and then she could find out her own way up.
I could go the other way around. Then again, I don't want to leave your side. Don't have any particular spells for this. Unless...
I could actually do 5 medium objects. So 5 bedrolls.
Good. Excellent.
Perfect.
Perfect then. Alright, so that's the plan. We'll head back to the spire, fly or slide down, and see if we can perhaps sneak past them.
And we would have to do it quick, because the anime objects doesn't last long.
Right. Very well, let's head back then. So this is a room that you saw, but you're not entered physically before. Let me double check something so that I can give you just a refresher on its description. Of course, as you would see, there is a massive spire that has been cast off. You assume, perhaps at one point, it may have once been connected to the spire that you had slept in at one point. Has been long since cut off. Let's see here. And as
I'm gonna like peek in the rubble, but just like glance at it, looking for stuff.
Okay.
I rolled a 4 on investigation, so.
A 4. Okay. I will say. Let me see.
I think I would also like to, dig around in here.
Right. I assumed as much. You guys are kind of like looking through. There is, of course, the hole that is. You can actually see into the hole through the rubble. I will say. There does appear to be a staircase spiraling towards a central attic. You can access quite easily from the opening in the rubble. Let's see. And as you're kind of peeking through, let's see. Yes, you would see that there is a wooden chest with a sliding bolt latch held fast by frost. Currently, it's on its side, upside down, in the rubble, in the attic. Yeah, it is. You try and pull up the latch, though. It is held tight by frost.
Firebolt.
Yep.
Firebolt. Both of you snap your fingers. The ice melts away. You open the latch. Open it. And you see a pile of shattered glass. Your heart sinks for a minute until you realize there are 2 intact bottles filled with a red liquid underneath the pile of shattered glass.
Whoa.
You taste them.
What are they?
You taste them. They are 2 potions of superior healing. So,
That's pretty good.
indeed. So if I'm correct, that will be... Let me double check. Potion.
I say one goes to Skanuk and one goes to Hawks, right? Galus has got his transformation that can kind of soak up a lot of damage, and I can heal things myself.
So both of those are 8d4 plus 8.
Okay.
Well, I've also got a little bit of ability to, soak some on my own, though.
Yeah, but you're always on the front line.
Well, if you insist.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you had done this before, Scales. I forgot to mention that HP loss. It's no longer there.
Yes, I already took care of that.
Okay, awesome. I completely forgot to mention it, but you already took care of it. Also, hold on. Let me get my charger. My phone's about to die.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can't have that happen.
Nope. Too bad.
Just go ahead and plug that right in.
No.
Alright, I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, I am fairly difficult to hit, but, if no one else wants one, I can take it.
Well, villain, you want to hold on to one?
I certainly will, although I tend to stick closer to the rear in cases like these, but
Right.
I won't say no.
I feel like we haven't needed it a lot recently. Not since our biggest fight. We'll win it when we face the worm, the white worm, not the ones down there.
Well, I guess of us, I'd be able to give it to someone easily.
That's true.
Or I don't know if this would work. I could animate a potion or a group of potions and distribute them all.
Well, you could animate the bottle.
Yeah, and they could pour themselves down the
That is true.
person's throat. Tactically speaking.
Look, if they're using their action to do so, I would say yes.
Mass healing. Wizards can cast healing spells.
I mean, I guess. I guess that would be technically correct.
And then the bottles would just smash themselves against the enemy.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open to that. That's a good idea.
So Villain will cautiously peer down the tunnel, which is shining smoothly, almost like glass, as she kind of brings out a little bit of a light source. So are we doing this then?
Seems like the thing to do.
Very,
So we're
very
sliding down
good.
here, and then to get back up, we're gonna use the animated objects. Is that the plan?
I thought we were going to use the animated objects down this tunnel and up the other side without going into the worm room.
Yeah, that was kind of my intent.
Okay, so let me get my blanket out then.
Yeah.
Just gonna wrap it around me like a burrito.
Meepo burrito. Oh gosh, you breathe into your mic with white.
I noticed. I laughed.
I guess Hawks could take that helmet he's got and sit in it.
Ah, yes.
Like a little teacup in Disney World.
Like a hag cauldron.
Skanuk, are you gonna ride your turret?
I don't have it out at the moment.
Oh.
It is a medium object. I guess I could.
I do have a bedroll.
You don't have to have it active to have it animated, do you? You can just put it up without activating it.
What?
I mean, when you activate it, that's when you do the use.
Right.
The,
So like it doesn't exist until I.
oh, it's like
use the feature.
incorporeal until I thought you.
Yeah,
like,
I have to like.
pieces
yeah,
that
I-
lifted up and did.
I can like. I guess I might. I guess I theoretically would have like the inactive pieces. I could ride that around.
Right.
Is that
that's what I
alright?
was thinking.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd say that. That would be cool. I would allow that.
I mean, otherwise he's just gonna be using like a bedroll, so it's.
Yeah.
I feel like this is cooler and more thematic, so I'll let it happen.
All right.
So wait, let me ask really quick before we do this. Where did the potions end up?
Villain and Skanuk.
I think maybe Evelyn and Hawks, but I'm glad I asked.
I do have one. I believe you
Okay.
gave it to me.
Yes.
Hawks or Skanuk, who wants it?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All
As
right.
long as we know who has it.
All right.
Yep.
One for
Got
Villain.
it marked.
One for Skanuk. Okay.
What are these now?
The superior
the
healing
potions.
potions that you
I
found.
was double checking who had them.
Okay.
So Skanuk and Villain have have them.
Again, Hox is kind of the biggest tank and also has a little bit of self-healing with Second Wind, so I don't think he's too worried.
Right. I don't think anybody is at the moment. What we'll be worried about is when somebody is down, and then we'll just find who has it, or you send me, depending on circumstances.
Okay.
So we're good.
So, with that, you will have your method of transportation. Are you all ready to go downward?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. So, Scales. You begin to cast your spell. Each individual having their own target, which to ride down upon. Let me double check something here. Is this something specific? Okay, it is not. Good to know. With that, your blanket begins to float, Beepo. You gently begin to fly down at Scale's command. Villain has her bedroll, which she's using to kind of float down gently upon. And Hawks, you have your helmet, which you're using to as well. You're kind of swirling a little bit, but you managed to kind of keep control. And Skinnock, you, of course, you have, I believe you said it was the bits and pieces of your turret before being created, correct?
Oh, yeah. So it's like the turret, but it's not active. I'd have to.
So it's like the dragon head itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the dragon head of the turret. So yeah, you're just kind of like grabbing onto the horns like handlebars, and you're just kind of like leaning down a little bit, kind of like trying to guide it. And you, Scales, you coming down along with them. You all gently drift down along the tunnel. If I can get Scales. Where did Scales go? Oh, there it is. Alright, I'll go ahead and drag you down. Roll 20. The little bit of light that you have, that Villain has, reflects off brilliant in many different brilliant colors. And as you enter this area, she snuffs it out, as there is a little bit of dim light emanating from the heated pool that the Rimraz still seems to be sleeping in. It seems that she has moved position. Seems that she at one point has left her nest and come back with what seems to be perhaps a smaller creature of some kind. It looks to be. It's difficult to say. It looks like it has a singular eye, and it's humanoid in shape, but it has like a hunched body posture. The eye has been kind of plucked out, maybe eaten, but like there's clearly like an empty eye socket where like a single eye used to be. And the creature's corpse is currently just being boiled, essentially, slow cooked in the heat of the pool.
You know what that thing is, Fullin?
She's gonna roll a history or Arcana check. I do. It's not a problem. But creatures like that aren't usually a problem to deal with. It's the source and the cause of what created it that's more of a concern. And you as well would know this, Meepo. These creatures are called Nothics. Were usually spellcasters who attempted at one point to become liches, or some of them, and perhaps try to do some sort of perhaps mass-scale magical experiment, perhaps. But there was something went wrong, and in that failure, they were transformed against their will into this. At least that's how it is for most Nothics. There are perhaps various different causes for why a creature could have been turned into this, but usually they were humanoids. They're mortals, or turned into aberrant forms. That is... If we're working on the theory that whatever happened to this city was a great magical catastrophe, we're going to need to be careful going ahead. Damn.
When we're dealing with those things, what kind of stuff do we have to watch out for?
Well, weirdly
I'm assuming there's
enough,
probably more than one of them. Hopefully not, but
perhaps given some of their natures in their past lives, perhaps some Nothics are known to be very keen on knowing things about you that you would have never told a soul, secrets that are meant to stay hidden. They have a sort of keen insight into such things. As well, they have their eyes. They retain a little bit of that magic that used to be a part of their person. And as such, a little bit of it rests in their eye. A bit of a necrotic power, but their eyes have some sort of rotting gaze, as it were. Other than that, they're mostly harmless as long as you stay away from them and don't agitate them. Other than that, they can perhaps bargain with them as well as you would a normal person, but there is some madness that lies with the transformation that you should be wary of. But let's not be concerned with that. Let's worry about not waking up these creatures. So, how do you all proceed from here?
it's
Carefully.
we've gone down and we're going down this way next, right?
That way goes upward, specifically.
Right, on the flying objects, right?
You are currently. I will say that it seems that this tunnel seems to go and go and go and go, seemingly with no end in sight. There's some dark recess.
Villain, you wouldn't happen to have the invisibility spell with you?
I would not, unfortunately.
I do.
I can do it on myself.
Skunk, would you want to cast it on all of us?
All of us. Let's see if I've got the spell slots for that.
Well, you can lower it by one with me.
Right. Third level or higher. I can only get 2 people at most.
Okay.
Let me double check on something here. How does this feature work? Oh, there it is. You can cast it without spending a spell slot. It doesn't say I can't upcast it, but it doesn't say I can.
I would say you can only cast it on yourself in that case, then.
You can also cast them using the appropriate level spells thing, but that would be casting it. So I could use it and then upcast it.
In that case, if it does say that specifically, then in that case,
But I would use the spell slot.
You would in that case. Yeah, usually if it's an ability that just lets you cast it like once per day, then it's at base level.
Yeah. So I can upcast it by actually using a spell slot, but it wouldn't be the 1 per day free.
Correct.
So if Canuck wants to do it on a few people, I can do it on the rest.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I can do it on 2 people and you can do it on 3.
Yeah, so that'd be
full
a
cast them.
3rd level spell? 4th level spell?
Yes.
4th. Okay.
Okay. So, with that, you manage, with all of using your resources, you manage to cast the entire party in invisibility. The only thing remaining visible, technically, is all your little things, your little floating things, as they're technically creatures, but for the purposes of this, I will not count them as making stealth checks. I'll count it as you guys making stealth checks. They're technically, I'm counting it as you being mounted on them, so we're going to use your checks for this.
And we're also not on the ground, so we're not like
Correct.
making any noise or anything extra like that.
So, you can go ahead and roll stealth checks, all with advantage.
I'm gonna emboldening bond as well.
Okay, emboldening bond. Okay, so with that, she's gonna roll. How many are you getting with the emboldening bond?
Our party, villains, the one that.
Okay, that's fine. So that's fine. She rolled okay. A natural 20 for Skanuk, though. That's good. That's 2 successes. Okay.
And Hawks, did you get the emboldening bond in there?
I can roll that.
15.
Need to double check. Okay. So, you may move yourselves as you wish, and we will see if anything happens.
I was gonna say that if the one tunnel looks like it's just gonna go and go and go, we don't have a lot of time on our flying things. So, that tunnel to the south of us.
So around here.
Yeah, it's also taking time to cast as well and to speak, so be wary of that.
Here.
Okay, so you're going down that way. Okay. So this tunnel does curve, but you do sense that you feel there is a slight, not quite a gust of wind, but there is something down that way you feel. Your kobold, call it your kobold intuition. I'll say this tunnel curves down to the south. Hang on. Why won't it? There we go. And as you make your way down that way, the memorizers do not even stir. So, with that in mind, I will actually need to move the map slightly upward. Or maybe I won't need to. Well, actually, no, I will need to for this. So you're going to see some weirdness here as I move the map like so. So this is going to be weird.
Ah.
For purposes of this, I'm going to... Yeah, hang on. I'm going to zoom out on the map here.
Do you have to move the map, or can you just increase
The map is that big.
size?
The map is that big that I have to physically move the map layer. It's that big.
Couldn't
No,
you
I mean,
increase
like,
the size of what the
can't-
map is available on like the
Oh,
settings?
good.
Hang on. I'm just going to reveal what you see here. So I'm going to reset. Reset the fog. Everything's gonna go black for a second, but don't panic. Okay, Roll20 is giving me problems. Every time I try and zoom in and zoom out. Okay. Just go ahead and reveal all this because you have seen it before. Reveal tool, you'll always be the bane of my existence. you four over here. I am aware of the confusion and weirdness that this will cause, but it's just a weird situation. It's fine. So, you will enter into a tremendously large cavern, which I will describe for you shortly. I see. Let me embiggen this place for you. Click, 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 click. Reveal. So, clinging to this 30-foot high ceiling of this cavern is a forest of icicles, some of which have grown to a length of 5 feet or more. Embedded in the south wall is a cylindrical domed building made of seamless black stone, and is decorated with faintly glowing constellations. You see rime-covered statues of human wizards standing in front of this building, gazing outward from atop a 3-foot-high stone pedestal. Rather, as you're looking closer at it, several stone pedestals. The buildings and statue are raised by a 5-foot-high curved stone platform enclosed by a low wall with stone steps leading up to it.
Well, that looks ominous.
Does it look arcane or religious or something else?
It looks slightly more arcane in nature. I would say you wouldn't need to make a check for this in particular. It just seems at first glance to perhaps be more of just an observation platform, it seems. It's like not of religious nature, but more logical, scholarly in that sense, at first glance.
So that's what was spying on us, right?
I'm shrugging.
Or it was the
Glenn,
wall.
you know what this is?
I have no clue what this might be.
Professor?
No matter los. It seems they have no clue of what this might be.
I'm going to refresh for one. Oh, I just refreshed Roll20 and ended up in another game.
Oh no!
What?
That's happened to me before.
That's fun.
I didn't know that could happen.
That is
It has happened. It has happened to me before.
Yeah,
in
if
fact.
you visit the other game, if you have two games open in different tabs, it goes to the when you refresh, it goes to the one you most recently opened.
Oh.
So it might have like seen something in your cache or whatever, and be like, "Oh, you want to do this?"
That's wait.
Oh shit.
Okay, I will be right back into the game in just a second because it's
Thing.
not what I was trying to do.
Sure thing.
Just
Not a problem. But in the meantime, Meepo and Skanak, you are currently entering the room, or rather the cavern.
there we go.
It's a cave, so it's real.
Yes.
It is real. It's very quiet as you enter this cavern. Everything is still. Only the faint glow emanating from this platform is the only source of light that you can see.
It's over there.
You kind of go ahead and give a glance in that direction. You enter this little space over here.
Just checking for like arcane markings or weird tracks or anything weird like that.
Hey Michael, roll a d6 for me. Roll again.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's a blizzard.
No! Oh!
Meepo, as you're looking through this cavern, you suddenly see a shape moving alongside the left side of this particular entryway. It moves unnaturally so, undulating and writhing with several pulsating tentacles. But it's obscured by the cavern wall, almost like frosted glass. It moves along, almost swimming through the ice. The cavern walls bulge inward slightly and then outward, almost as if they were breathing. And then as soon as you turn to face your compatriots and look back, it is gone.
Skanek,
Yeah?
I think I'm seeing stuff too now.
Oh.
So
I'm not crazy.
we're both crazy, or you're not crazy. Or there's something magic here, which would mean you're not crazy. Or you're crazy, but not about this.
At this point, the magic will be, the animate objects will begin to end, and you will all gently kind of float back down.
How long does animate objects last?
About a minute, right?
Yes, 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. So it's over.
Then we have like 9 more minutes of emboldening bond.
Correct.
Well, is there anything in this room?
Not that you could see, no. It's another empty room. It's interesting. Every time you've gone into one of these empty rooms, you've felt a presence every single time. It's almost as if these empty spaces are catalysts for something. But what, you couldn't say. But there is the rest of the cave to
Empty
explore.
rooms.
So, there's only the way forward. What do you do?
Well, look a little bit further in.
I think Hawks will try to stick close to Skinnock just in case.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. What's on the central platform?
As I described before, on the central platform, you had seen statues of scholarly-looking, wizardly-looking individuals. I'll need you to stop right there, actually. Scholarly-looking individuals who appear to be gazing up at the stars, looking into the sky. Probably fitting, gathering that the platform itself, the cylindrical dome-like building, seemed to have constellations etched into it, seemingly to move and glowing. But as you approach the platform, you will see two figures emerge hidden behind the statues. And what are your passive perceptions again?
13.
13?
15.
15.
15. Yeah, these guys, they have a insane bonus to their stealth. It's crazy. You will see two dark-skinned individuals with pointed, elven ears emerge from behind the statues, taking you by surprise. And with that, you're going
Is there somebody who can't be surprised?
Fox, I think.
So one of you can't be, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hux, is one of your runes give you an ability that can't let you be surprised, or who is that?
I think it's Hawk's storm room. Is he on?
I think he's looking through his abilities, maybe.
Oh.
He moved his token, he talked, I know he's here. But I would ask you to roll for initiative, though.
Oh, he mentioned he's
okay.
printing things, so maybe he stepped away to print stuff.
Yeah. As these dark elven figures come from behind the statues.
I'll do it again.
Ah.
Oh.
They got surprise round and immediate first.
Not great.
Not the best.
Hawks is not surprised
Okay, good to know.
because of
Why am I not surprised?
the storm rune.
I called it.
Okay, excellent to know. All right, so given the time, I see we will end here for tonight. But next time will be the ambush of the Drow elite warriors, as they now step behind the statues. They are heavily decked out.
They don't look undead, do they?
They do not. They are fully flesh and blood living Drow,
Oh.
which is surprising to you considering where you are right now.
Right. It is very surprising.
So we'll have to.
That's why I must be surprised.
Yeah, that's why you're surprised. Like, wait, huh? What? But in all seriousness,
All right.
thank you so much for watching. Wherever you are, I hope you're living your best life, and I hope you're staying safe out there. But until then, we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.